Killing one creature for 7 mana isn't great, but getting an army of zombies after a wrath is. Shakespeare said, "The play's the thing." Only instead, we played the thing. Thanks for checking out our inaugural gameplay of The Thing, based off the usurper format and classic horror film. This was nearly a 2-hour long game, so we're breaking it up into pieces so that we can give it the time it deserves. Check out our first part of the game here, where we discuss the rules of The Thing. Now, it strikes me that we didn't actually cover the players or the commanders last game. Whoops, so we'll do that now. Rob is on the left, playing his tuned Rafik of the mini deck. Above Rob is Ronnie, playing his super aggressive Xenagos God of Revels deck. Next in turn order, we have Josh playing my Brago King Eternal deck. After him, we have Chad, who is playing Shieldred Whispering One. Beneath him is June, playing his very graveyard-centric Carador Ghost Chieftain deck. And finally, I'm on the bottom of your screen playing my Dethrone-centric Marchesa the Black Rose deck. Alright. We're starting out on turn 5 with Rob. On Rob's turn 5, he starts by rolling damage with his Mana Crypt. Rob casts Exploration and then plays 2 lands off the top of his library, Mystic Gate, and Maze of Ith. Rob gains 2 life from his Courser of Krufix trigger. Rob declines to attack and passes the turn. Chad's Cryptghast will live another turn apparently. On Ronnie's turn, he casts Dosin the Falling Leaf. Josh and Rob both have instants in their deck, but neither of them do anything to stop the Dosin, although Rob does cast Enlightened Tutor in response to search up Phyrexian Metamorph and put it on top of his library. Ronnie just passes after that, apparently short on mana. Josh casts Grim Monolith, and his commander, Brago King Eternal. Josh also declines to attack. Not too much hate going on at the moment. On Chad's turn, he plays the land every mono-black player loves, Cabal Coffers. He then casts Nurkana Revenant for even more manas. He then is still able to cast Kajimaro, First to Suffer, but does not have any leftover mana to be able to use it this turn. On June's turn, he starts by attacking Chad for 5 with his Primus, since Chad has all the mana right now. Chad starts to block with Kajimaro until he realizes that the Primus has Trample and instead just takes the damage. June continues not playing land and then evokes Shriekmaw to blow up Josh's commander, which he sends back to the command zone. On my turn, I cast Dax Duplicant and copy Josh's Serra Ascendant, clone count 1. This seems like a better play than copying June's Woodfall Primus, but unfortunately, it is going to put me on the throne and turn off a big part of my deck with the Dethrone. I attack Josh since he has the most life with the Hasty Serra Ascendant, which is boosted and triggers 2 Dethrone instances, making it 8/8. Josh takes 8 damage and I gain 8 life. I miss my 5th land drop and pass the turn. Turn 6. Rob attacks June for 4 with his Centaur. Rob draws a card from his Sword of Fire and Ice trigger and deals Dosin 2 damage so that he can cast instants again. Rob then plays 2 lands off the top of his library and gains as many life. Rob then casts Phyrexian Metamorph, copying June's Woodfall Primus, clone count 2. He blows up Chad's Cabal Coffers. Rob breaks Flooded Strand, but gains the life right back. Turn 7. Rob takes 3 damage and goes to 37. Rob draws an extra card from Chad's Anvil of Bogarden and discards a card. Rob plays Brushland from hand and gains a life. Rob equips his Primus with Sword. He then attacks me and I go to 48. Rob draws a card and deals 2 damage to Trinket Mage, which I guess is more threatening than Chad's Cryptghast. Rob then casts Academy Rector and Bribery, targeting June, getting Overseer of the Damned, a sweet card, but unfortunately killing Marchesa. On Ronnie's turn, he finally casts his commander Xenagos, but then just passes. Josh attacks me for 8, 2 commander damage. He blinks things and then casts Sun Titan, returning Crystal Shard to the battlefield, and then passes. Chad plays Swamp, casts Soul Ring. He then casts Shieldred Whispering 1, and finally uses the Cryptcast Extort mechanic, draining a soul for 1 life and gaining him 5 life. Not bad. Chad then attacks Ronnie for 7 with his Nirkana Revenant since he is open. June forgets to sack a creature on his upkeep from Shieldred and draw an extra card from Chad's Anvil. He casts Far Wanderings with Threshold and puts 3 basic lands into play. Pretty nice. I also forget to do those things on my turn and play Scalding Tarn and then sack it, paying a life. June and I remember to sack creatures, and Rob gets zombies. I cast Olivia Valdarin and Necropotence. I then attack Chad for 9 in the air after Dethrone triggers. I then gain 9 life. I then pay 6 life into Necropotence, completely forgetting that Anvil is in play and I have an unlimited hand size. Oh well. Turn 8. Rob untaps so many lands, sacks a zombie on his upkeep to Shieldred, draws 2 cards, discards 1, floats 13 mana, casts Finest Hour, and Elspeth Knight Errant, and Rafika the Many. Pluses Elspeth to jump the Primus, and then attacks June for 26 damage. Rob draws 2 cards from the 2 Sword of Fire and Ice triggers and deals 4 damage to Chad's Nirkana Revenant, killing it. Rob then goes to his second attack phase, attacks Ronnie, and triggers more Exalted. Ronnie is set to take 30 damage this time, but Josh is such a buddy that he saves Ronnie by bouncing the Woodfall Primus with Crystal Shard, since Rob has no mana open. On his next main phase, Rob plays 2 lands from the top of his deck and gains 2 life. He passes. On Ronnie's turn, he draws 2 cards and discards Genesis during his draw step. He then plays Untapped Stomping Ground with 2 damage and casts Sylvan Library. Still with no creatures, Ronnie just passes. Usually Ronnie has ripped off way more people's faces at this point in the game. Turn 9. Josh stacks Sarah Ascendant during his upkeep. Josh attacks Brago at Chad and Sun Titan at Rob, who blocks with his Academy Rector. Sun Titan returns Lightning Greaves to play. Chad takes 2 commander damage and Josh blinks his things. The Rector tables Mirari's Wake when it leaves play. Post-combat, Josh bounces Sun Titan with his shard and then casts Austere Command, choosing to blow up.
So all dudes. Yeah, or do all dudes.
Neglecting Rob's Mirari's Wake, which is going to have a big impact on the game. Rob gets no less than 7 zombies from his Overseer trigger. Chad lets his commander go to the graveyard so he can draw 2 cards from his Skull Clamp. Chad casts Crypt Rats on his turn. June casts Satyr Wayfinder and reveals no lands, but puts 4 creature cards into his yard, and then casts his commander for 3 since his yard is absolutely full of creatures. June pays 2 life and casts Birthing Pod. On my turn, I skip the Anvil effect due to Necropotence and overload Vandal Blast, mainly to check Rob's ridiculous board state. I then cast Baleful Strix and draw a card. I then pay 3 life into Necropotence and then draw that many cards on my end step. Looks like we are out of time once again. Well, that's it for now, but how do you think the game is going so far? Any closer to figuring out who the thing is? Rob is definitely starting to get out of control. I wonder if it's him. Can you imagine? Next time we'll have the final installment in this series. Until then,
why don't we just wait here for a little while? See what happens.